That's a funny joke, Neil. Well, it's time for my S games. So sit back and relax. Obviously, you can tell we're going to go with a Star Trek theme. Star Trek game number one is the one that I played first growing up as a kid, Star Trek Judgment Rights. This game is from Interplay, and it was, as I said, the very first Star Trek game I ever played. I spent hours trying to figure out all the puzzles and ins and outs. The game is split up into episodes. Episodes that you participate in as a member of the crew. You can either be Spock, Kirk, or Dr. McCoy. You basically control the characters. Now, I had the original 3.5 disc floppy version my parents got me that I played on my Dell PC clone back in the day, and then they got me after that the same game, however this time in a special edition CD-ROM box, and it came with two CD-ROMs. One was a special features disc, and the other was obviously the game. The gameplay, though, had been enhanced with better music and the original series cast reprising their roles in the voice acting. This would also be the last time that DeForest Kelley played Dr. McCoy, the character he made famous on the original TV show. The game came out, I believe, in 1994, and he unfortunately passed away in 1999. So this would be the last time that he had a chance to play the character. As I said, I grew up playing this game, had a lot of fun. I've recently re-downloaded it on Steam. It is available on Steam, and I'm looking forward to recapturing my youth. It is one of the very few games that I actually played all the way through, at least on the easiest setting, and I did finish it. However, that's the only level at which I finished it, so maybe in adulthood I can progress beyond that. So we'll see. I will give y'all an update. So that is S game number one, Star Trek Judgment Rights. Going in the order in which I played the games, once again it's another Interplay Star Trek title, Star Trek Starfleet Academy. This game came out obviously several years after Judgment Rights, and it also had very immersive gameplay for the time. It's actually part of a whole franchise within Interplay of Star Trek games. They also had a Klingon Academy game that you played, and both of these games, I think there were a couple of others, had cinematic cut-ins. This game featured cinematic cut-ins that included the acting talents of Mr. George Takei as Captain Sulu, and also Mr. William Shatner as Captain James Tiberius Kirk. The Klingon version had Christopher Plummer reprising his role from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, as General Chang. This game, as I said, is very immersive. You play as a cadet. You get to pick what type of starship you serve on, given a certain set of classes, starship classes, and you go on training missions, and you progress through the game. Now, I have to confess, I never actually finished this game, but I did really enjoy it as a kid. It was going into my early teens when I played this. But I had a lot of fun with it, and the orchestral score that goes with the game is just fantastic. It's by Mr. Ron Jones, who also did several episodes in the early years of Star Trek The Next Generation, as well as several shows throughout the 1980s and 90s. So if you get a chance, once again, this is also on Steam. I recommend giving it a play or two. So now we go on to game number three. And game number three is another Interplay title, Star Trek 25th Anniversary. Now, this game actually came out before Judgment Rights, and Judgment Rights is actually a sequel to this game. However, I didn't play this game until well into my adult years. That's not entirely true, though. I did play it a couple of times as a kid with a friend of mine who had it, who was also a huge Star Trek fan. And we played it. I think we maybe got as far as the first episode in terms of finishing it. But viewers might recognize this game from when I've been on Pints and Amigos, and we've played this game. And hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, I will be on with them again, and we will once again pick up where we left off in our voyage to seek out new life and new civilizations, and will boldly go where multiple drunken idiots have gone before. Once again, those are my 3 S games. I apologize that it is late. I actually had to re-record it. But those are my 3 S games. So those are my 3 S games. I thoroughly enjoyed sharing them with you. Big chunk of my childhood, and obviously a chunk of my adult life. My introduction to YouTube, as it were. And I have been a huge Star Trek fan since I was a kid, since summer of 1992. And so these by no means are a comprehensive list of the Star Trek games that I have played and or enjoyed. There have been some clunkers. That said, though, I do apologize for the tardiness of this S game set. I did have to re-record it, unfortunately, but I want to thank Neil for giving me the chance to have a do-over of sorts, and so I will toss it back to him very gladly back in the studio. Take care and enjoy the rest of your quarantine.
Made with genuine Sandbar arcade parts.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Woody. Yes, Grant. Woody Grant, Grant Woody. One and the same. Thank you very much for that intro video. Yes. Sorry, I was just making Velociraptor there a mod. As he's a mod on Discord, he should be a mod here as well. How are we all doing? Monday, Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. But of course we have viewers from far further afield. So hello to you all, Bitter Blitter, Retro Box Room, my learned friend Monty, Retro Baz, Pixels, Castado, Richard, Mark Fixes Stuff, White Dragon, Ian Staff, who says run away, Geronimo. Hello everyone, Rob, Necronom, Derek at Flame Lily IT. Hello everyone, it's great to have you all here for what is the very last stream. Not ever, but you know, of this series. This is going to take us through hopefully all of the remaining pictures and videos, and then we will take stock and figure out how we can do something in the longer term, because I think this has been great fun. I think it is time for a little break, a little rest, and then we'll work out how we can make it even better moving forward. It won't be on a daily basis, I'll figure it out, but it will be something. Why am I finishing the streams, Jack Straw? Because, well, it's actually a fairly timely time to do it, because just 15 minutes ago, a little longer ago, we had the daily briefing here because of the event. We get our daily briefings, and it was announced that all non-essential shops will be open from the 15th of June. So things have started to ease, despite the look on Aznavor's face there. Oh, he's disgusted with that news on the screen. Things have started to ease and normality should start to return, and I think we're through that kind of scary period that we had when I started doing this, where it was just like, what the hell is going on? We've all got to stay home. Let's just kind of lean on the thing that we love for a bit of comfort, hang out together, and I think we've got through it. We're not, that's the wrong thing to say. We're not through it, because we all have to be very vigilant and make sure we don't make things bad, worse, go to Durham, all of that stuff. But I think it's time, and then we'll find a longer term way of doing this. Now, we are going to end on a high, but we're going to start on a low. Some of you heard me mention last week and on the quiz that something not so happy happened to do with this stream. So let's share that with you, and I'll explain why I'm sharing it with you. I think we need some sad music for this. There's the sad music. Oh, it goes with Aznavour's face. It's not Nipplegate, it's a sad story. I got a message on Friday. Oh, yeah, it was Friday, I think. And it reads like this. Hi, Neil. Names omitted to protect the guilty. Hi, Neil. I'm very upset. And I'm not going to name them. This is not naming and shaming. I told you I submitted a tea video a few days ago. You did not show it, but showed multiple videos from other people. And you're now moving on to X, Y, and Z. If my video was not appropriate or I did something wrong, I would have appreciated a heads up. I'm not a natural video maker. And this was my first proper edit and voiceover for a video. And I was keen to see how it would have been received. And that's actually fair enough. That's not the bad bit. That's actually fair enough. You know, it's putting yourself out there to make a video for the first time is difficult. But I'll continue. It's clear to me now that you only favour your friends and buddies with these things, especially with your repeated, and here's another one from a regular, statements on the stream. How is anyone supposed to become a regular contributor if you don't show what they submit? If you were only accepting submissions from only your friends, then you should have mentioned that. I had hoped to become a part of the RMC community over time, but this has made it clear that I was mistaken, that I had found a place where I would be welcome. As such, I'm cancelling my patronage. I know it doesn't matter to you as you have many patrons, but I cannot in good faith continue to give my money to someone who does not want me as a subscriber. You're right, Monty, you're right. So why am I sharing that with you? Why does it make me sad? Because honestly, we'll keep that on there. I have a thick skin. I get a lot of, people get a lot more trolling comments than I do, but I get them on a daily basis. I'm very comfortable with the content I make and put out. So it just bounces off me. But this one struck a chord. Oh, hello, we've got Nunky Island behind it. Why did it strike a chord? I think it's because on reflection over the weekend, I realised it's because I'm quite protective over what we've created here, because I'm not upset that he's insulting me. I'm upset that he's insulting the whole stream, which is come together because of all of you. So he's insulting you. That's why I came to realise that I was angry, And as I mentioned earlier, the whole stream came about because we wanted to lean on each other and our hobby as a form of comfort to share what we do. And at no point has a video knowingly been submitted to me and not shown. It has accidentally been missed and someone's prodded me and I've gone, oh yeah, sorry. Mentioning no pixels at dawn. Oh, there we go. He says he forgets my videos. It's a privilege. But Pixels, doesn't throw his toys out the pram and we get it sorted. So I've done my best to make sure nobody misses out and that this is a good experience for everyone. So that was my conclusion. That's why that one got under my skin, and that person has left. They were ejected from the Discord server, and I did say to them, here's a screenshot of the folder. You're due to be shown on Monday. I hadn't actually missed him. He was in the folder. It was just we had too many videos. Anyway, so we got the sad news out of the way. yeah, because I just think we've created something quite amazing together, and it's gone from me sitting in front of the camera filming you a video and releasing it on YouTube to me going, do you know what? I think the first time I did this live was because I hadn't had time to record something, and I said, do you know what? I'll just go live. It was almost like, let's wing it. Let's just see how it goes. And then I don't even remember how I came to ask you guys to submit videos, and then it just turned into whatever this is. This wonderful thing. So thank you to everyone who has made this stream what it is. And I hope you've all enjoyed it. And let's crack into today's stream, which, incidentally, because of the number... After saying all of that, because of the number of submissions that we've got and that this is the last day, I have to do things a little bit differently to get through them all. So what we're going to do today is we're going to watch all of the videos that have come in. And the pictures that have come in, I've put into a folder called Gallery, and we're going to look at the pictures and comment on the pictures. But I'm really sorry, and I appreciate the time and the effort that you put into sending me the text to go with the pictures, but I'm not going to be able to read. I've just made a decision to cut down the time. I'm not going to read the text. Haven't singled anyone out. I've just said all of the text, can't read it. So thank you very much for your time, in submitting that. But yeah, we do need some Tony Hart gallery music. But hopefully you understand why I'm doing that. So let us begin. And Red Crayon, wipe your tears away with some money. Thank you, Red Crayon. So let's get rid of Nunkey Island. And let's see. We'll do some videos, and then we'll do the gallery, and then we'll do some more videos. And we will start with, am I allowed to say this? A regular who is always submitting wonderful videos. Please don't crucify me. It's Custado. So away we go with Mr. Custado.
Zero Wing is the game I picked for the letter Z. Hello, this is Custado.
Hello, Custado.
Toaplan released this game in 1989 in the arcades and in 1991 on the Mega Drive. What you're seeing now is the PAL version, a pretty standard affair. There's a 32-page black and white manual if we count the back cover. Zero Wing is a pretty good game, a very nice shoot 'em up, but obviously we all wanted to see this.
Alright, Custado. Study to a rave. We're off to an absolute banger.
Well, I think it was quite Neil, thanks for taking the time and effort doing all these daily videos. Custado out. And now, back to the studio. Bye.
Custado, I salute you, sir. What an absolute banging way to go out. Yeah. We must get over for a big Dutch rave with Custado. Marvellous. Right, let's put you in the done folder. And we've got Dan's games. So basically the letter today is pretty much everything from S. Everything from S back through to Z. Whatever's left. Let's see what Dan's got for us. More games with a banging soundtrack. I don't know that we'll get to hear them.
Hello Cave Dwellers, this is Dan C here again, and this time I'm here to show you my W game, which is Wolfenstein 3D.
There's that banging soundtrack.
1997. I would have been around 12 years old. I came across the shareware version, probably stuffed on a CD full of shareware games. My parents had just recently bought a second-hand 486, and up to that point I'd done all of my gaming on a Commodore 64 or at my friend's house on his Amiga. Of course I knew 3D games like this existed, but it still blew my socks off to be able to run around in a 3D space at blistering speeds shooting Nazis in my own home. The same PC was perfectly capable of running Doom at a good speed, so you can imagine what I thought when I got a shareware copy of Doom a few months later. I don't have a physical copy of this game, I never have, so you'll have to make do with this gameplay footage. Back in the day I was perfectly satisfied with the shareware version for many years, although I did buy the full game in digital form when it was released on GOG later.
So who experienced this first and who experienced Doom first? Because I played Doom first. This one passed me by. I think I was still on an Amiga and then I switched to PC and played Doom and then went back and played this, and of course it didn't have anywhere near the same impact because I played Doom. Doom had massive impact on me, but you know, obviously it was a bit of a backward step. And in answer to your question, Jamie, I haven't counted how many videos have been submitted in total. I'll have to see if I can figure that out. And in fact, I'll do a tweet when I figured it out. I'll do some stats. How many streams, how many hours, how many games, all of that stuff. Nulani's never played Doom. Blockulator played Wolf first on an Acorn. Doom first on a 286 for Flame Lily. How did it run on that? You must have had a postage stamp size window. I think I played Doom first on a friend's 386.
Wolfenstein is often thought of as the first FPS game, but I won't bore you with the well-trodden details of why it isn't. Instead, I want to talk about a different perspective that I hope you'll find interesting. Wolfenstein 3D is a first-person dungeon crawler. Wolfenstein 3D undoubtedly popularised the archetype that first-person shooters relied on for the next 5 or 10 years, but if you trace back its design decisions through earlier games, I think it owes a lot to early first-person RPGs, such as the SSI Gold Box and Wizardry series. Consider the dank stone-walled dungeons, the sprawling grid-based maps with their walls all at 90-degree angles, the keys and locked doors to force backtracking, and the secret doorways and implausible amounts of loot to encourage exploration. If you take Ultima and boil it down to its barest, most essential components, get rid of most of the complicated inventory, equipment, character stats,
Does make a good point,
and make it into an action game, then you end up with Zelda. If you do the same thing with Wizardry, then you end up with something that looks a lot like Wolfenstein 3D. Actually, perhaps you end up with Catacomb 3D, which is an earlier FPS with a dark fantasy setting that was also made by id Software. Which brings us back round to Wolfenstein 3D not being the first, which I said I wouldn't mention. Oh well, Catacomb 3D isn't the first either. Back to Neil in the studio.
What a tease. What a tease. He's not going to tell us what the first is. I guess we've got to figure that out for ourselves. That was good, and some really good points made, which I think I saw you agreeing to in the chat about the dungeon crawler comparison. Pixel says the map editor always thrilled me. So simple to put a map together. I spent a lot of time on the build level editor for Duke Nukem 3D. That was not so simple to put a map together. Took a while to get the hang of, but then it was quite flexible. That goes in the done folder. Next in the queue is Fair Fight 14, letter Z, Retro Box Room. Oh, it's a strong choice. Here we go.
Hi Neil, hi Cave Dwellers. Acorn Archimedes A3010. Let's load up Zarch. Now this came out in 1987 and it was developed by David Braben, who was one of the guys that developed Elite.
DJ Braben. Now, if you are of a certain age and you went to school in the UK, you would have had probably Acorn Archimedes. And the first game you always looked for was Zarch. I can't remember if it was bundled with the operating system or why it was on so many of them, or if it was just smuggled onto all the machines by kids. But it always seemed to be there.
Which was back in '84, I believe. But this game was pushed with a lot of Archimedes Code Lander as a demo initially. And then it came out on other computers, and it was called Virus. Now this game, it was the first game that I'd ever played on Archimedes when I was at school. I wasn't supposed to. Yes, it was a demo part, but the point is that I hadn't seen anything like it before, because at the time I was still playing around with a Spectrum, so I thought this was amazing. And you see, it's very fast, and you have to just keep going for it. It's quite difficult to control because you have to tilt the mouse just in the right way for the way that you want it to go, and you thrust, and you've got shooting, and you can fire a few missiles as well. Just a quick one, but thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was a great tool for learning how to use a mouse, control a mouse really accurately. And I remember getting it on the Amiga, on my Amiga 500, and being slightly disappointed that it didn't have the frame rate of the school Archimedes. And then the other game that was very similar was Conqueror. Had that same perspective, probably the same engine, I don't know. And that was tanks, army tanks. Let's close that one. Thank you, Fairfight at the Retro Box Room. Very much appreciated, sir. Johan has an X game for us. Let's see what he has. Oh. Now, who's played this one?
Hello, Cave Dwellers. For my final video in this series, I have chosen this game, which is the X-Files game, which came out in, I believe, 1996.
I need X-File noises on my soundboard.
Back in the 90s, as I'm sure a lot of you guys also were. And yeah, so when I heard this game had come out, I just had to buy it, so I grabbed it as soon as I had the opportunity for it. It was the first game that I remember having to swap CDs for, and this game actually came on 7 CDs. It's the first game I remember taking over, CDs. That had the chance of taking over a gigabyte of hard disk space. So I guess this and Phantasmagoria are to CDs like, I don't know, Monkey Island 2 was 2 floppy disks on the Amiga where you had to swap a lot. Anyway, it's a nice FMV point-and-click adventure game, and yeah, took me a while to solve the game, but I actually got to it in the end. So anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you Neil for keeping us sane during this time, and yeah, back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Johan. Oh, turn that off. X-Files, I remember I played the demo, came on a magazine, cover disc. That was enough for me. I didn't feel the need to go out and play the game, buy the game. It was better than the earlier FMV games. It was certainly a lot more interactive than just plain old FMV games, painful FMV games. But my favourite of that type was Under a Killing Moon in the Tex Murphy series. I really liked that combination of FMV and the 3D engine to wander around and explore the world. Yeah. Retro Box Room has completed X-Files. You used to have it. So that was Johan's. Let's dip into the gallery. So as I said, these are just jumbled up, all of your pictures. I do apologise to the likes of Dana and Sheepitina and Mumbo and everyone else who took the time to send text in, but if we're going to ever end the streams, there had to be some concessions. So we're just going to go through the pictures and see what we've got. So we've got Zach and Wiki. Quest for Barbarus's treasure. This has got to be a Dana or a Tina one. Surely. with mild violence. There's the back of it. A puzzling adventure. Use the Wiimote to transform objects. A little bit blurry for me to be able to read that out, otherwise I would. V for Virtua Racing on the Sega Mega Drive with the SVB chip. I was lucky enough to play this at Mark with the C's house. And it is impressive. I think we talked about this last week. It doesn't have the greatest frame rate in the world. But it's a Mega Drive, for crying out loud. It's impressive just that it runs. We've got a spread of Ys here, I think. Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Story. Is that Y? YS? Yz Mask of the Sun. Xenoblade Chronicles. Or Xenoblade Chronicles. There's a whole series of them there. And Ukulele. Ukulele in the Impossible Lair. Yoshi's Woolly World. I've never seen that one. I instantly want to play that looking at that. A game made out of yarn. Geronimo sent in the Virtuous series. Thank you. Next up, this was from Mumbo actually, which is a nice companion to the video that we saw. So we've got the PlayStation version of the X-Files, which I think someone mentioned earlier was 4 CDs on the PlayStation. So either they found some better compression or they cut something out. Here are those CDs. Wonder what the difference was then. This is also from Mumbo. W for Winnie the Pooh. A year at Pooh Corner. Oh, Mark Fixes Stuff knows all about that. There's Eeyore. There's Piglet. There they are, listening to Castado's rave music. Next up, Z is for Zapper. Bit of Z, bit of Duck Hunt with your Zapper. Iconic. Really is an iconic looking gun, isn't it? Bit of Scooter. How much is the fish? Z is for Zoom. Now, who's heard of this? It's a bizarre looking case. It's like, I don't know, it's like Dizzy the Egg grew up and grew some ears. Yeah, Castado, Evil Dizzy. I've not heard of that one. Yeah, where are the Zorks? Good shout, Nulani. W is for Warhammer. March 96, it was rated by that magazine, supporting Windows 3.1 and 95. Published by Mindscape. V is for Virtua Athlete 2K. I think I played that one. My friend Jippy used to have that or a similar one, I'm sure, on his Dreamcast. And I seem to remember, and this is not me boasting, but I used to have this really weird cack-handed way of holding console controllers on button bashers that just gave me this weird advantage. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like an interlocking finger thing. And the first time I played him against it, I got the world record in the 100 metres. And he just switched it off and said, no, we're not playing that. V is for Virtua Cop and Virtua Cop 2. Love a light gun game. Virtua Cop was so basic in its polygon style that it now looks really stylized and has aged well compared to others that are heavily textured. I think it works well. A bit like Virtua Racing. There's the Virtua Fighter series. Oh yeah, I always remember that old dude, the Mr. Miyagi type character. Warhammer was Chris's. Thank you, Chris. Again, sorry I wasn't able to read the text out today. Let's close one of those. We've got a few more. We've got Virtua Tennis. I remember playing this as well. I used to play this on my mini arcade with the Dreamcast emulator because I remember it had Tim Henman in it when he was our top tennis player. Oh, we've had that one. Another Virtua Racing, and then the final one is this beautiful picture of XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and looks like a book. Tito Conopelion Classicot. I'm guessing that's like the complete guide or something like that. But that's a nice looking book, isn't it? Even if I can't read it. Oh, thank you. There you go. That's our gallery for today. And we will resume with a video from my learned friend. Yeah, I didn't get the page count, sorry. I just saw a warning flick up on the screen. Oh. God help us. Here we go. Sorry, Pixels. I will learn all languages.
Hello Neil, hello Cave Dwellers.
Hello,
The
my
daily
learned
videos
friend.
that inspired me to go back through what's left of my original games collection from the 80s and 90s, and in doing so I came across a great entry for the letter Z. Yes, Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders. But I've only got two things from it. Firstly, this hint book, which as you can see, the hints are covered up by red print, printed over blue, and you needed a red cellophane viewing device to see the hints underneath. And this, the security card to get past the anti-piracy measures, which they printed on this heavy red paper, which was impossible for 80s and 90s photocopiers to get a nice clean copy of. But that's it, that's all I've got left. Game itself, second game by LucasArts, Lucasfilm to use the Scum engine, the first of course being Maniac Mansion, originally made for the C64, later ported to the Amiga and the PC, and it was the Amiga version I had. Starring Zach McCracken as a hard-up newspaper reporter, a dodgy telephone company overtaken by aliens, a Sphinx on Mars, giant alien keys, a yak, and a two-headed squirrel. Always wondered if that was inspiration for the three-headed monkey. Now this was one of the first games I had for the Amiga, and I had the original box packaging which came with an amazing newspaper, as well as obviously manual, the hint book, the security card, the disc, and obviously the warranty card, which no one ever filled out. And when I left home, that was still all stored in beautiful mint condition. Years later, my parents, while having a clear out, sent me a lot of stuff from my old room, and all I got sent was the hint book and the security card, and I was told everything else was thrown out. But hey, these things happen, you know. I'm sure it wasn't valuable. I suppose it might be worth just checking to see how much it was worth.
No way! Oh, £410. Good lord. We're going to get onto stories of what our parents have thrown out, aren't we? My parents threw out my entire Amiga format back catalogue. A huge pile of them. Yeah, I didn't realise that went for that much money. Zach McCracken, worked on by the great David Fox at LucasArts. Sue your parents. Your mum threw out a Blizzard 030 accelerator. Yeah, a long time ago, before I was doing any of the Retro Man Cave stuff, I bought an A1200 on eBay. I think it was for 60 quid. So they weren't going for big money. But when it arrived, I found an 030 accelerator in the expansion slot. And I didn't really need it, so I put the accelerator back on eBay and it just more than covered the cost that I'd paid for the 1200. Yeah, it was a long time ago, Baz. It was like, I don't know, 2004, something like that. 2005. I'd noticed there were a couple of pictures that didn't turn up. And one of you mentioned this, which reminded me there was a picture sent in from Wing Commander. So we did have a W for Wing Commander. One of the Kilrathi there. I always like the fact that in Ultima 7, in the middle of a field, there was a crashed Kilrathi ship. And it told you about Wing Commander. We also had a Xevious. Great arcade game. And then the last one we had was this Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Mario Nanny Simulator. Yeah. It's probably a curry, isn't it? It's Yoshi's Curry. My learned friend is doing better after all the therapy. Your A1200 needs a recap. Today I ripped out all of the guts of a Amiga 4000 PSU, replaced it with a modern PSU, and a few other little extras in there. And then tomorrow I'm going to get down to the job of recapping the A4000. Looking forward to playing with that one. No, I didn't replace it with a Raspberry Pi. Next up, it's Namco's. Oh, this is one this is a game I haven't thought about for a very long time. Nope. I had this on the Amstrad. Those sound effects. Okay, Tim. I mean, it's clearly a Commando kind of clone, but it was good. I did enjoy it. Worst things happen at sea. I dread to think what happens in this game. I've knocked the volume down for you a bit. Sorry, headphone users. Don't really know what's going on here. Robot power is going up. Ah, Vector Man. By the way, completely unrelated, has anyone been enjoying the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix? The Last Dance? Because I really have. Oh, Wolfchild on the Mega CD, nice. Yeah, Costado, it's called The Last Dance, and it's great because, you know, that Michael Jordan period, basketball wasn't particularly big in the UK, but of course it was when he was around. Everyone knew about it. Everyone knew about the Chicago Bulls and followed it and we played it at school and tried to be like him. So there's a huge element of nostalgia in watching it, as well as a lot of cool information about what was really going on. Who's Michael Jordan? W is for Wet Tricks. Very fun puzzler. Oh, we got some Virtua Tennis. And there is Tim Henman. I never saw him pull off a move like that. Oh, he's down at the bottom. Looks more like Hugh Grant. Is he the one who makes the shoes? Hello, Lily. Oh, that's the end of that one. Very good choices. Thank you, Namcos. And we are going to go to Tim next because he said, can you do mine next? So I'm wondering if he's got something that follows on. Ah, yes, we got some Virtua Cop. Take it away, Tim, with your V key.
Hi, Tim here. I'm going to rattle through a few letters of the alphabet. So, starting with the V, Virtua Cop on the Saturn, a fun light gun game, and I do like a good light gun game.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't, Tim?
For W, WarioWare game. WarioWare, I think I'll pick on the GameCube because that's the one I've played the most. Really fun.
This is another one of those
games where
crazy mini games, isn't it?
Initially don't know what the hell you're supposed to do, and eventually you get to grips with the fact that you got to pick your nose and flick things and shoot things randomly in very quick little mini games. Great idea, fun character, and yeah, I think it should be called Wario Karts, not Mario Karts, by the way. So what can I say, X? Well,
he always brings it round to Star Wars.
I'm not going to apologise because actually the X-Wing series is awesome, both allowing you to be a Star Wars space jockey, but also enjoy a more of a simulator really than an arcade game. There's a mix between the two, but with waypoints, missions, and progression and so on. It felt a bit like some of the other fight sims of the day, and it culminated in X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which allowed really good network
Absolute
play
classic.
and multiplayer, which is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, ever since seeing the movies, you'd always wanted to fly the ships, and this was the first time it felt like you were doing it properly. That's X. For Y, I've gone for Yoshi's Story on the Nintendo 64. Fun game, really smart looking, and it's evolved into a great franchise, including the Woolly World games, which I really appreciate the look of. Very cool. Yeah, and finally, Zed. I've gone for Zombie U on the Wii U. It was a game that really used the controller, and yeah, it was quite frantic when you had to look up from the screen, the little screen, to the main screen because the zombie was onto you, and it was a permadeath kind of thing. Your character would die and you'd have to start with a new character, so made it all the more engaging. I do love a zombie game, and yeah, this was a good one, and it was a nice console that should have done better really. So that's it. I've done the entire A to Z of my collection. I hope some of them have been titles that were resonated, or that maybe you've gone and tried, and yeah, thank you, Neil, for hosting this. It's been interesting and fun to do, and well, that's it, we're done, so back to you in the studio, and see you sometime.
Thank you, Tim, and it's been a tremendous effort from you, and it's been a really nice insight actually, getting to know your gaming history, the games you used to play with your kids, games that you enjoy yourself, all your Star Wars games, your arcade machine, seeing your room. You gave us 2 room tours, and one, and then you felt motivated to do another completely different room and set it all up in there. It's been fun, Tim, so thank you very much for everything that you've done for the stream. Very much appreciated, and everything you do for the channel as well. On now to I saw a mention in the chat that Olivia is watching. Little Olivia. Hello, Olivia. I hope you're enjoying the retro education that you're getting over there in Paris. Next up, it's our good friend Pixels. I'm on a U for you, Pixels. I'm sorry if you've sent in another one, but I've got you here lined up for you. So let's see what we've got.
Hello everyone, it's Pixels at Dawn here. Now, some of you might think this is not a very retro game, but I'm sorry to break it to you, but this came out 21 years ago.
Oh God, he's going to make us feel old.
It is, of course, Unreal Tournament, a fantastic PC game. I really want to show this because it has a lovely, lovely box. So look at the outside first. This is my original copy from back in 1999. It's really nice. You get some nice screenshots on the back. A very accomplished FPS game. Definitely my favourite out of the two competing games, this and Quake 3 at the time. But it also has a lovely feature that it has a nice fold-out cover. So you get a nice view of the tournament trophy there. Barely ever mentioned in the game, but it looks pretty. Tells you all the game modes. And there, capture the flag, assault, deathmatch. Even tells you about getting your stats and things like that, which is pretty nice. It does not require a 3D accelerator card, although, that might not be such a good time for you. Let's open it up. There we go. All sorts of things. Ooh, something I didn't even know was in there. Imperium Galactica 2 Alliance's rolling demo disc. That was the day. You can't even play it.
Yeah,
you
nobody
can just
likes
watch
a rolling demo.
Well, not to worry. What else have we got? So we've got, of course, the 2-disc pack, which is the actual game. Lovely, lovely printed CDs, as you always got in those days.
I don't remember ever looking at the extras.
You've got a manual, which I'm not even sure I've ever read.
How many pages?
How much do you need to know to shoot people in an FPS, to be quite honest? Yeah, I don't think I've ever read that. It doesn't look like it's been thumbed at all. Watch out, Direct 3D accelerator card users.
Oh, what have we got then? May have problems with Reva TNT, TNT2, GeForce 256, ATI Rage 128, Matrix G400, S3, Savage 4. Look, if you're mucking around with them, get yourself a 3DFX card. Although we are going into the Direct 3D era, aren't we? But I think I was still 3DFX with Unreal Tournament.
You may have some problems. Make sure you pick the right option, etc. Those were the days. So there you go. Unreal Tournament. But that's not all. A few years later, 5 years later,
there's more.
Unreal Tournament 2004. I didn't have. I think there was a 2003 as well, wasn't there? Which I didn't ever have. But that's a lot simpler. There's no manual on there, which is a little sad. But that just shows the way things were going. And to complete the set, Unreal Tournament 3, which was a very, very pretty game. I can't remember when that came out. It came out in 1998, 2007, I guess. So yeah, it's not that, still a while ago, still 13 years ago now. But it looked a lovely, lovely game, and I had a lot of years of fun playing that at LAN parties and such. This one does have a manual. And a character code, which you can't use. I've already used it. So yes, another manual I've never read.
How many pages?
It's quite a nice manual.
Tell us.
They did a good job of it. I think this was why manuals disappeared, because the games just became too simple to require them anymore. Or maybe it's just they were being cheap. Probably. So there you go. Unreal Tournament and 2-bit sequels. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you very much, Pixels. That's a fantastic choice. I have found your other game, by the way. Don't worry, that one is not missed. Yeah, I spent loads of time on Unreal, the original Unreal Tournament, and 2004, and then I was massively. I went down the Battlefield 1942 route, and I really got into those, that Call of Duty, all of that before it became a bit of a I don't know, a bit of a tiresome annual release. Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Secret Weapons, that was awesome. It was Bitter Blitter, and they released Battlefield 1942 for free a year or two ago. Oh god, don't go back and try and play it now. It is not the game I remember, but it was amazing at the time. Bad Company 2 was good, yeah. Battlefield Vietnam. Flying around in a helicopter blasting Bird is the word out of it. Let's go and see Watto. It's Russ. Oh, looks like he's taking us on his daily walk.
Otto, Cave Dwellers.
Watto.
You join me on my morning walk
Get back indoors.
down there. I'm thinking about games beginning with X.
Oh, top
And I'm
t-shirt.
reminded that there have been mixes and dance tracks put together in the past,
Oh no.
but none can outrun or equal the power of Mega Blast.
Oh, here it is.
Apparently. Yes, if my Bomb the Base reference flew right past you, it's Xenon 2 for the Amiga and other assorted platforms. The 1989 shoot-'em-up classic by the Bitmap brothers. You fly your ship through several nicely drawn top-down landscapes, shooting at shapes, wriggly things, and boxes that give you powers.
I was
Stopping only to
no
do
good
the
at the
occasional
game.
bit of business with this guy.
I was no good at the game, but I would load it just to listen to the
By
music.
the end of the game, you've got so many guns mounted to your ship that you not only stretch the limits of the Amiga's animating skills, but your gun sound effects steal nearly all 4 available channels. Gotta love that 4-channel separation. So anyway, that's Xenon 2. I'm sure a couple of other people have chosen it. Very popular. And it only remains for me to say ta very much, Neil, for all the streams you've been doing, all the content you've been putting out while we're all in lockdown. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, sir. I don't think we've seen your face before, Russ. It's a joy to see who you are. Thank you very much, and hopefully sometime in the future we'll get to meet in person and share a pint and a pasty. Maybe an expo or something. A Scotch egg. Yes, Mumbo, my gallery is empty. Sorry if I've missed anything, sir. And I appreciate, Mumbo, all of the entries that you've sent in over the weeks, because you always send them in with a good backstory. We always learn something new, so I appreciate it. And I do apologise if I've missed something today. Let's go for, we've had Russ. And let's go for Rob, in no particular order. Oh, just savour that for a moment before I play it. Look at the angles. Look at the shelf. Oh. What's he got for us?
Evening, Cave Dwellers.
Good evening.
Well, my choice for the letter W is Wonder Boy in Monsterland. The first time I played this was in Spain, and the hotel had a machine in the reception area. Me and my friend just played it for hours. It was 25 pesetas a go, which was about 12p then. And then, yeah, it was just something different. Like, it was a platform game, as well as having RPG elements. You collected coins to go and upgrade your armour and your shield and what have you.
Is this the same Wonder Boy in Monsterland? Was this one in the arcades? I'm trying to remember. Was this one on the arcade? Am I thinking of something completely different? Bournemouth Beach was Monsterland today, was it?
And yeah, so I enjoyed it in the arcade.
I just needed to play it for like 2 seconds longer. You enjoyed it in the arcade. And is this the one that had the skateboard, yeah? At the start, you jump on the skateboard. Because I always used to think that was the coolest thing ever.
And didn't actually play it on the Master System until about 5 years ago when I got this copy. And for Christmas 1989,
yeah,
I
that's the
got
one. Okay, cool.
The Commodore 64 version. For some reason, I've no idea why, Activision chose to call it Super Wonder Boy, and I still, to this day, don't know why they changed the name. It's quite rare to get this on the Commodore 64, especially in this condition.
We'll come back to that, Chris. That's worrying to hear.
Sold mine years ago. This is one I got off eBay recently because I sold all my games and my Commodore 64 to help pay for my Amiga, which thankfully I've still got. So yeah, let's have a look at the different versions.
I recognise the dragon because Mark Fix's stuff used that particular segment of the box as a close-up for his box art round in the quiz, and a lot of people went for the game Tapper just based on the bow tie wearing dragon holding a bottle of beer. Is that even in the game?
Of Wonder Boy Monsterland.
So here we have the arcade version.
There always used to be a Wonder Boy cabinet next to a Double Dragon cabinet where I used to go. And the mix of attract sounds was brilliant. It's not in Tapper.
And this is the Master System version.
Oh, he is in the game, okay. Yeah, my friend Guy had a Master System and he used to play this. And I used to have to watch.
Japanese.
I wasn't allowed to play.
And now the Commodore 64 version.
I don't know, I feel like the Commodore 64 can be smoother than that. Feels a little bit jerky.
Finally, the Amiga version.
Again, it's like Robocop on the Amiga in that it's got that massive border around it. And we know the Amiga can cope with a full screen.
So there we are, a couple of different versions of Wonder Boy in Monsterland. But how thick is the manual?
Oh yes, show us.
Look.
Get ready.
63 pages.
Congratulations.
Okay,
63.
so that's my choice. It's back to Neil in the studio.
Thank you, Rob. I always like seeing the comparisons. The screenshots may vary. And invariably the Amiga, for all my love that I have for Amiga, it generally lets you down when it's put up against particularly consoles, even 8-bit consoles. Come on. Have you deliberately crippled this game so that it looks better on your Sega console?
I'll get you there.
Oh, let's go here. This is a nice follow-on from Tim. And it was sent in a long time ago. Ahead of the game here. Look at it. Look at all the models.
Hi Neil and Cave Dwellers. I'm jumping way ahead. You guys are on C. I'm going to jump right ahead and get in quick on X.
See, he sent X in on the C day. That is planning.
X-Wing for the PC. Reason why I've chosen X-Wing for the PC when you get to X is because this, I believe, not this actual copy, I've repurchased this, but this was probably the first game I bought from a shop for my PC once I jumped from Amiga to PC back in the day, and I just had a 386DX, which I actually found pretty underwhelming until I got this, and I got a Sound Blaster Pro 16 inside it, and in all honesty, I still think the Amiga sounded better, even though it had less channels, I'm going to be honest. But this was such a great game as a Star Wars fan. I don't know if you can tell. Picked this up last Christmas. So my last trip to the UK was last Christmas, and did some impulse eBaying, and this was one of the ones that was great. Came with the strategy guide. I don't use strategy guides, but it's nice to have that anyway. And the seller, even after I'd paid for it, he threw in B-Wing and Imperial Pursuit there as well. So it's got all the original discs. But this is just great to have this again. That's actually the GOG version playing behind me, so a bit of a cheat. And that's 90 seconds. I'm just going to stop there, okay? Because that's too long for these. Bye.
Remember when everyone used to stick to 90 seconds back when we did C, the letter C? There we go. So let's see what we've got next. All roads lead to Star Wars, says Paul. I think they really do, don't they? What's the difference between a channel and a voice, says Ben? I would usually use them in the same context, I think. Mumbo. Greetings, Gizmo's door opener, and I did just have to open the door for her as well. LucasArts really was killing it back then, Costado. Point and click games, flight sims, the Star Wars games, then Dark Forces. Oh, so much good stuff from LucasArts. Puzzle games. Okay, I think it's time for Richard, isn't it? It's time for Richard. He's been a highlight throughout this whole series. So thank you in advance, Richard. Don't let us down on your last one. I don't want Richard streaking through the final video. Here we go. Give me as many copyright strikes as you like today. It's over. Sue is on Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf, the point and click adventure game we always wanted. Elmo was here.
Holly, come hither.
Yes, Arnold. What is it now?
Yes, Holly, I need to come up with one game. It's either got to begin with X, Y, or Z.
I see. So, rather than fly the ship, you would rather use my IQ of 6,000 to help you think of a game beginning with a letter.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Well, can you think of any?
What about Zork?
No.
Z out?
Never got past the loading screen.
Indeed.
Yeah, I love the
I
uniform.
was wondering the same thing.
What?
Oh, never mind. I've scanned the entire database of gazillions of games, and I found just one.
Hang on, we've got Sue waving down here. We've got the Scotch egg. We've got the tape measure. I think, was Elmo always there? Or has he just appeared? We've got the calendar. There's so much thought gone into this. The more you look, the more you see. We've got the mug. We've got the R canisters. Good Lord, Richard, the effort you go to.
Just one?
Well, the database is stored on a Sinclair wafer drive, so it's unlikely to be corrupt.
There must be more than one. Well, come on, laddie. What is it?
Yar's Revenge.
No, too scary. Ended up spending most of the time in the neutral zone. What about X?
Well, I can think of lots of X-rated games.
No, we can't have any of that. We're British, you know. Besides, Neil's not going to like it.
Well, there's X-Wing, XY bots, X-Out.
No. All still too many pewies.
Get ready.
I know. There was one little one with green dots.
Green dots?
Yes, it's coming back to me now. Green zeros on a grid. Usually came on a cover disc with a sticky label over the top. Handwriting. Pretty much every Amiga owner owned one.
No, not ticking any registers.
Used for backups.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I have located one possible map. This?
Yes, that's it. But sold commercially, you say? Who knew?
Yeah, apparently no one, despite being advertised in the top-selling mags at the time. Here you go.
Ah, yes, that's the one. Had hours of fun with this, watching those green dots appear.
Well, if that's all, I'm going to get back to flying this ship.
Oh, there's a screen we all stared at for hours on end. Hoping a red one doesn't appear. I don't remember dancing ladies. I don't remember pans people on my X copy. Cats. Have some horn.
Congratulations.
Show me the money!
Hadouken! Hadouken!
We done? I mean, I'm always left speechless by Richard's videos. What do you say at the end of them? So yeah, that happened. And then I always feel sorry for whoever has to follow it. Some of your finest work, sir. Again, thank you for all the effort you put in. Thank you for sending Elmo, who is now down in the cave. It's been great getting to know you better, Richard. Slightly worrying as well, but great. Oh, that ain't the finish. Well, that's the finish from Richard. We've still got a few more videos. We got Ralph. Let's see what Ralph's got for us today.
Get ready.
Hi, Neil.
Hello, Ralph.
How are you today?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much for asking. How's the cave?
That was good.
Right. I was nobody will know this apart from
the
me
last version,
and
was it,
probably
Mark?
Neil. Maybe Jamie from One Click Print as well. But one of my old setups is there. Yeah, look at that. I made the calendar. Aren't I clever? So, V. Oh, I have struggled for V and I don't know what to do for it. So, the only thing I think of is that. It's a Fairchild Channel F video entertainment system, but it's a video cart. So I'm going to cheat with that. And this is my small little collection of Fairchild stuff. I started out with this when my friend of mine did donate his Fairchild, and it works absolutely perfect with 3 games. Number 1,
so kind of you.
number
Thank
2,
you, Castardo.
and number 5. I think they were anyway. But I've expanded since then. It's amazing how
amazing. Thank you, mate.
other videos, games there are out there for this thing. They're all so simple, plain, and absolutely... they're rubbish, to be honest, compared to what you get nowadays. But they were absolutely excellent games to buy. And by the way, that's not the only one I've got. There's number 9, number 10, number 11, number 12, number 13, number 16, and your bonus ball is number 21 in a slightly different box there.
Ooh, that's
but
a
they're
good
all
collection.
Video carts, even though it says bowling on the side of it. With video cart 21. I think these are the UK or the American versions of these. I think the UK. Let me have a look in number 1 though. See, these are the cardboard is so fragile on these, it's ridiculous.
Number 1.
And the Fairchild, if you've ever seen either
terrible
mine or
collection
Neil's
of
video
games.
on them, they're brilliant little things.
The others are great. Number
they
1.
are the cartridges.
No.
The first cartridge-based system that you could change things with. So the first ones are the second generation. I mean, the boards look so like they haven't been used, which is a shame. But they come with a catalogue. They even come with look at that as a warranty card. They come with
mint condition.
Absolutely ridiculous. These video carts. You're just drilling it again and again. It's a V, so I'm actually straddling. But they're absolutely amazing, these. They're bright yellow. There was a German company that did some more of these as well. They kind of got the ROMs and onto different discs. Well, cartridges. And they're such a good curiosity. You get inside, there's nothing that you could really faff around with. If you did faff, you'd probably break them. But to play, it's such an awkward game to play. The weirdest thing about the Fairchild was actually there was a hidden game on that. If you didn't have the cartridge, there was one game already built in there, apparently. I haven't checked it myself, so it could be completely false. But it's like the Alex Kid on the Mega Drive. I haven't got one.
I just paused just to say thank you again to Castardo and now Russell with the £19.99. Thank you so much, sir. Really kind of you, and not just the donation, but the donation of your time and effort in putting together all the videos and things that you've sent in. So thank you very much. On the subject of the Fairchild, my favourite game is Drag Race on the Fairchild because it uses the really unique joystick like a gear stick, like an H shifter, and you've got to slam it into each gear at exactly the right time. I really enjoy that. Even though the graphics are so simple, it's just pure gameplay down to timing. And also, on one of these, I don't know if Ralph's got the one, but on one of these is, I think, the first Easter egg on a video game console cartridge. It was before Adventure on the 2600. They found an Easter egg. Oh, I've got Ralph on mute. Sorry, Ralph.
Yeah, it's built into there, so there is actually one built into the Fairchild. So, lovely. Video cart. I could have gone even more tenuous than that, to be honest, by going, here's a video game. But no, these are the video carts from
That's
Fairchild.
a hell of a loophole.
So, with that in mind, thank you very much. Back to the studio.
That is a Dominic Cummings size loophole to say, I've chosen V for video game. Vindicators. There's a V game. Anyone used to play that in the arcades? It's kind of a futuristic tank game, a bit like Robot Wars, I guess, in the style of some of the tanks. Ralph, you have sent me well in advance, like a video for every day. I'm really sorry I can't play all the remaining ones today. I can't play the Ralph show, but I'm definitely going to keep them safe for when we do these future shows. So thank you again for all your work. Edgy. We've got two more. We've got one more from Pixels. And then we've got one that I'm intrigued to see. So I'm not quite sure what it is, and that will take us to the end. So let's see what Ian's got.
Pixels of Dawn here. We're getting near the end now. And what could you possibly have for W?
Get ready.
If not
Great
Worms.
choice. We had to have this.
It's the original version on the Amiga. It's a lovely box. Got this nice white motif and sort of printed, sort of stamped crate-wise on the side, Worms.
I still play this, not this version,
my,
but on Steam.
my OCD kind of thing. There is £10 when I picked it up, but yeah, lovely little box. You even have some shots of the movies which weren't in the Amiga version, as I recall, but not to worry. Yes, screenshots are from various formats and are not the full screen area. Yes, I can tell that.
I like that
was
email
the whole
address.
Screen. You would have problems. That was the whole screen.
You're going to see that.
Are not
Email dudes@team17.com. I'm sure it was cool at the time.
tell that. That was the whole screen. You would have problems. Let's get it open, shall we? Oh, a classic code booklet. Now, this won't come out on the camera, and that's the idea.
Get ready.
But it's got black ink on black background codes for your copy protection.
What did it come with? A
joy
UV
there.
light?
I'm pretty sure you could sometimes photocopy those, but generally not, and that was the idea. Nice big manual going on there. Black and white, but not to worry about. Little cartoons of all the things. Even CD32 controls there as well. But why would you want to play Worms without a mouse, I ask you? Let's get into German and French and probably Italian. There we go.
So true, Dave, so true.
A few adverts in the back. Euro Manager 96. I don't remember that. And don't forget, everyone, the internet is the future. Right, there you go. So that's that, and then you just have the discs. And the nice inlay here. Nothing too exciting here. Disc 1, 2 and 3.
Very nice.
There you go. That is Worms. See you again.
It's a very strong choice, and I still play it on Steam. If you're in Discord, well, now that I'm not going to be streaming quite so much, we can get back to some evening gaming of golf with friends and Worms and any other games that we choose to play. But Worms is just a staple. But, you know, as is Scorched Earth, as is Tanks, as is everything that Worms was based on and carried through, it was always just a great game. Baz says, I was always a bit too shy to submit a video, but love the streams. Thanks, Neil, and thanks to everyone for keeping me entertained. You're most welcome, Baz. It's always been good to see you here in the chat. So I guess this is the last video. This is called Z Cave from Laurent. Laurent? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Z Cave? Let's knock the volume up.
Hello, Cave Dwellers. Hello, Neil. Z-Cave is a game that should not exist.
Okay.
Hello, Cave Dwellers. Welcome to the cave. Hello, Cave Dwellers. Welcome to the cave.
Thank you, Neil. I think we got it. Oh, look. There's an Amiga 500 on fancy $700 Apple wheels. The goal of this game is to move the computer on the other side of the cave and place it on a shelf. These wheels are absolutely noiseless.
I think it might be a horror game.
I think that went well. I got even a mug. The next computer is an Atari.
This is really quite
ST.
scary.
Okay, let's put it also on the shelf. Oh my god, what happens to Neil?
Get that Atari out of there.
He just destroyed the Atari.
That wasn't even my air horn.
And I lost the mug. Oh no, not another one.
Oh, we like that
That's
one.
an Amstrad CPC 464. Let's give it a good clean with the brush.
Yes.
What? The Amstrad looks like a Sinclair now. I hope Neil won't mind.
I do mind. Where's my sledgehammer? Safely in storage.
Ah, I got my mug back. Here comes the lowrider Atari Falcon. Not sure if I want to push it on the other side. Neil looks still fine.
You're gonna sneak it past me. Oh no, we've seen it.
I knew it. Rest in peace, poor Falcon. I wonder what will happen next.
Oh god.
Oh? Okay, well, in that case, back to the studio, Neil.
Yeah. So that's how this thing is ending then. I think it's it's not just Richard that's left me speechless tonight. That's that. Ending with me. Oh, let's leave it with the guru on the screen. I think that's apt. Yeah, that was a thing. And that draws the series to a close. Oh, LJ45 Chimera. Thank you so much, sir, for the £10. That's all the videos I've got for you today. Charlie Brooker did a film, yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Do you know what? I don't know how many days we've done this for, how many videos, how many games, how many hours. Not once have I had time to look backwards and see what we've done. And I'll do that this week, and I'll share some stats with you, let you know what we've all been through. Be fun to do some kind of highlights video if I can, but I don't know if I will. If I'll find time to do that, we'll see. But in the longer term, the quiz in the longer term will be back, probably once a month. The live stream in the longer term will be back. I'll figure out if it's going to be a public thing, a patron thing, one of each, a public thing that only patrons can submit to. I don't know. I've got to clear my head and think it through. That's all there is to say, really, other than just thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure spending the time. It's been great spending lockdown with you, because I really have. Spent so many hours chatting to you and hanging out with you, and I can't wait to see you. Kevin, thank you so much for the $4.99. What did he say there? I think we need a COVID Diaries commemorative mug. Oh, we could do that. Yeah. With lots of air horn and Elmo and all the rest of it. Okay, I'll see what I can come up with for you. And what was I saying? Yeah, it'll be back. We'll do more of it. And I hope you find something to fill your evenings with, fill your time with in the evenings. What's that pop up there? I see Mark, 20 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. I see these things pop up in OBS before they actually appear in chat. There's a weird delay. But yeah, thank you everyone. It was good while it was lasted, and let's end on a high, on a good note. You're right, Mr. Green Fox. And we can look forward to doing it again sometime. So, for the very last time, goodbye everyone. And take care. And I will do the wave. Oh, hang on. Control at Reese. You can have a Hadouken for £20. Wow. Thank you, Reese. That's above and beyond, especially after your charity IBM NetVista purchase. Okay, everybody wave. Gizmo's not here, sorry. Bye-bye. It's been fun.
Checkpoint. Get ready. Congratulations.
Show me the money! Oh, what a lovely
I bet you got a big one.